Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our PlayStation Day here at Indigo in the O2. This afternoon, together with some of our friends from the world of games, sports, and music, we want to introduce you to the delights that PlayStation has in store for the months ahead. Needless to say, you'll have the opportunity later to try out the first playable versions of some of our key titles that will be launching later this year. And we also hope to broaden your mind as to the wealth of entertainment that today is defining the world of PlayStation. Why do we call it the world of PlayStation? Because, as you will experience this afternoon, we are a brand that offers something for every interest and every consumer. More of that, though, in a moment. Right now, I would like to introduce you to a very special guest to kick off our event today. It's an honor for us to have secured his time to visit us in Europe, particularly as he has not spoken publicly since his keynote speech at the Tokyo Game Show last year. Please give a warm welcome to the president of Sony Computer Entertainment, Mr. Kaz Harai. Kaz, welcome to London.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's really a great pleasure to be here in London today to share with you the wonderful collection of games and applications that we have to offer from PlayStation. This is actually my first trip to Europe since becoming president and CEO of Sony Computer Entertainment, so thank you very much again for being so welcoming. Today is a very important day for us as it gives us an invaluable opportunity to highlight the importance and the success of Europe and the PAL territories within the PlayStation family. Simply look at the incredible titles that have been produced by our European studios, titles such as Buzz, SingStar, and F1, as well as forthcoming blockbuster titles Killzone 2 and Little Big Planet. These are genre-defining titles, something that we're very proud of, and just one facet of the rapidly growing world of PlayStation. This is a world built on the success of our platforms. So let's take a look at some of the let's take a quick look at some of the figures. By the end of 2007, we had sold more than 10.5 million PS3s around the world. Global PSP sales had topped 34 million, and PS2 continues to amaze as it opens up new audiences and geographies with sales of 127 million units. Clearly, since December, we've sold many more PlayStation products, and we'll be announcing the most recent figures for the end of the fiscal year at the Sony results in Tokyo next week. During my keynote speech at the Tokyo Game Show last year, I set out the company's strategy for PlayStation 3 in 2008, and I think now is a good time to revisit that strategy. As we all know, PS3 is a platform for digital, interactive home entertainment, and we know that the nature of PS3 is multifaceted. But last year, we positioned it first and foremost as a system for games, and more games, so that it would be clear to users what they can expect from their PlayStation 3. Ultimately, it's the games that are define the PlayStation and games that continue to excite all PlayStation and gaming fans alike. And I think this message resonated well with the gamers and has really been taken on board. So this year, while we'll be maintaining our focus on delivering more great games, we also plan to promote PS3's multifaceted interactive entertainment credentials, and you should get a feel for that this afternoon. Today, you will not only have a chance to experience the great titles that we have coming out this year, including some great exclusive games that will only be available on our platforms, but you'll also be able to experience the other features that help to make PlayStation 3 such an exciting home entertainment platform. I also made it clear in Tokyo that we would be working harder to build stronger relationships with our partners and with third-party developers. And through an increase in dialogue, there's been a greater sharing of knowledge, of development assets, which result in the rise in the number of developers adopting PS3 as their lead platform, and we're seeing real steps in quality, sophistication, and fun of everything that we are bringing to the market. 4, as developers get more experience developing for the PlayStation 3, consumers around the world are seeing huge leaps in gameplay and graphics and experiencing something that can only be experienced on the PlayStation 3. I've always talked about PS3 being a long-term play for us, and that is still very much the case. And we're very confident that PS3 will have at least a 10-year lifespan, and with the power under its casing, the potential for improvement in all areas is simply astonishing. And needless to say, the relationships with our partners will be key in unleashing that potential. I also think it's fair to say that the first year of PlayStation 3 was somewhat a difficult one. There were some teething problems, success from our competitors, and our customers were a little underwhelmed by the range of titles that were available. This was something that we were very much aware of and something that we always were confident we could overcome. As many of you will be aware, things have improved greatly for the PlayStation 3 since the Christmas season, and 2008 has gotten off to a fantastic start. What fills me with even greater pleasure is the knowledge that our year so far has only seen the launch of 2 of our key titles, Gran Turismo 5 Prologue and Grand Theft Auto 4, with the rest still to come. The increasing breadth and depth of our offer is delivering for our fans while attracting a whole new consumer base. So, what are the key titles that I'm talking about for the year ahead? David will explain in greater detail soon, but what I can say is that with titles such as Little Big Planet, Resistance 2, MotorStorm Pacific Rift, and Buzz Quiz TV, together with a storming lineup from our third-party partners led by Metal Gear Solid 4 and Haze, 2008 promises to be a very special year for PlayStation 3 owners. Add to this extra features such as the Blu-ray drive and Play TV, and it really becomes an easy decision to choose PlayStation 3 as your gaming console of choice and as the focal point for all of your entertainment needs. By taking PlayStation's technical capability, coupled with vibrant and compelling content, new audiences are being introduced to the world of PlayStation. Not only are these audiences growing the market, something that which we've seen in unprecedented levels over the last year, but also creating a valuable new global community. This community is united by PlayStation and defined by each individual's own personal interests while enjoying new ways to interact with entertainment. So, what does 2008 have in store for the PlayStation, and more specifically for the PlayStation 3? The simple answer is interactive entertainment, with great games and behind that, great communities. One of the key aspects of our strategy is, of course, Home, our 3D interactive world, which we have recently announced will be open to the public towards the end of the year. Now, I realize that this announcement was disappointing to many people from TGS, where we were aiming for a spring launch. So first of all, please accept my apologies for this delay. But as I said at the Tokyo Game Show, I would not open up Home until I was completely happy with it, and I still stand by that statement. We've been testing Home for some time, and I simply feel that as great as it currently is, it needs a little bit more time before it's ready for the wider public, something we firmly believe we can provide in the autumn. Our confidence in Home has not wavered, however, and on the show floor later, you'll be able to get a taste for the progress that we've made, specifically such as the ability to launch games directly from Home. But Home is not the only thing that defines what we mean by communities. We already have a thriving PlayStation global community with more than 8 million people now registered on the PlayStation Network, and over 3 million of these in the SCEE countries. And a global network like this creates a huge opportunity for PlayStation, one that demands a new way of thinking. That thinking is now firmly embedded in our business, and we're starting to see the positive results in how and what we do. This has already started with our vibrant community hubs, such as My SingStar Online, for people who just love to sing, which has already seen over 1 million downloads and more than 20,000 videos uploaded, and new communities in the making, such as My Buzz, which will become a global portal for quiz lovers and will deliver a unique take on creating and also sharing content. This ability to interact with the game has changed the dynamics dramatically and opened up a whole raft of opportunities. Take Little Big Planet, for example, which is coming out in October this year. It will completely revolutionize the way gamers interact with their games, especially through the community functions that it offers and the ability to interact with Little Big Planet lovers around the planet. Add to these opportunities now available to gamers to take part in multiplayer online tournaments, with the number of players able to play in one game constantly increasing, and you really have a diverse community of network games really enjoying and exploiting the potential of the PlayStation platform. So before I pass back to David, I just wanted to touch on a few final points. Moving forward, the future of PlayStation firmly sits in the domain of interactive entertainment, a harmonious marriage between games and communities. And it's through this unique, exciting, and accessible games that we will make our platforms the staple diet for all gamers, including those wanting to take part in casual and social gaming. And it's this dedication that we firmly believe will bring the PlayStation gamers back to the PlayStation family and become a part of our global network community. This community is made up of people who will come together over shared interests and shared passions. Within the community, we'll begin to see people forming their own experiences, whether by defining new games, creating new content, or communicating at home. And it will be recognizing these interests and passions that will shape our business just as much as our products. And this means that PlayStation as a brand is starting to define itself by our passion and by our sense of play. Wherever and whenever you touch PlayStation, you will be inspired by the richness and the relevance of our content. So to explain more, I'd like to hand it back to David, but I wanted to thank you very much for your time, and I very much look forward to meeting you, all of you, later on. Thank you very much.
Kaz, thank you very much indeed. Kaz just arrived here this morning, so a big thank you for making the long journey here today. For those of you who would like to talk with Kaz further, he will be available on the show floor throughout the afternoon. Kaz has very clearly explained that PS3 is first and foremost a games machine, and it is. You will see ample evidence of that this afternoon. But PS3 also offers a wider variety of entertainment centered on those games and the interests they represent. It is about play in the widest possible sense of the word. To help showcase this, today we've moved away from the traditional approach at these events of focusing on each format. Instead, we'd like to talk about the passions that our consumers share when gaming and playing, and show you how PlayStation can provide entertainment to match and excite those passions, whether in virtual experiences or even real-world activities. Kaz mentioned some of the key global selling figures, and there will be mention of Sony Computer Entertainment Europe's specific figures throughout this presentation. But just let me update you on some of our key top-line numbers for Europe. As of today, in our region, we have sold nearly 12 million PSPs. And PS2 sales have exceeded 48 million. I'm also delighted to be able to announce today that we have sold over 5 million PlayStation 3s throughout Europe. We are particularly proud of this, as it has been achieved in a similar time frame to PlayStation 2, which retailed, if you remember, at a significantly lower price. We have been consistently outselling our closest competitor since October 2007. Even with the latest price drop, I'm delighted to be able to announce today that we have sold more PlayStation 3s throughout Europe than Xbox 360, even though they launched 16 months before PS3. These numbers are a testament to the strength of the PlayStation brand throughout our region, the ever-increasing number of titles being launched, the rich content on offer, and its appeal to different demographics and cultures.